Hello everybody, this is Mania. I'm not, but the show is. And today on this show, you know what we're going to be talking about today? You know what we're going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about Dora the Explorer, the live action movie, Dora and the Lost City of Gold. And how was it? Look, I am stunned. I am floored. This is the best live action remake of a cartoon ever made. Put that, besides Transformers, if we consider that live action remake of cartoons, then no, maybe Transformers. But let's take this out of it. Look, out of all the companies, Disney and even Warner Bros. for a little bit with their Pokemon movies, they've been making these live action remakes of like cartoons. Like Warner Bros. Just did Detective Pikachu. That's a live action remake of an animated property. Well, it's a live action take on an animated property. Okay, now, oh yeah, technically Pokemon's a video game movie, right? Okay, whatever. We won't count Detective Pikachu. I want to count it, but who cares? Okay, but let's just count the Disney live action movies, okay? It's better than 101 and 2 Dalmatians, better than all the Jungle Book movies that were live action, better than all the live action Disney movies, yes. So if you're looking for a good live action show based on some type of nostalgic memory that you had, oh, look no further. Dora kills it. Dora knocks it out the park. Dora's a good movie. Why? Well, easy. This movie just remembers to focus on character and have just a simple plot that's surface level to where that like the plot is just your average treasure hunting plot. Hey, hey, blah blah. Have you heard of the lost city of this? Oh, the lost city of this. Hey, let's find it. Hey, my parents are looking for it and they got lost. You know, it's every treasure hunter's story. Think Indiana Jones 3. This movie's pretty much just Indiana Jones 3, but it's like Indiana Jones. What was it? Temple of Doom? No, it's pretty much think Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. But with Dora the Explorer. That's pretty much what you're getting. And I'm not, and here's the thing, I'm not lying. It's just as entertaining as what I just said. It's so entertaining. Like this movie, they don't hold back. What I mean by that is like the humor, they just shoot they just shoot and start throwing things at walls and like about 80% of the humor just sticks. Some of the stuff is a little like, oh, that could, but most of the time, hell, I could barely hear the damn screen because people were laughing. It's families, people with their kids, it's old people in there and stuff. It's kids laughing. Hell, the adults were laughing more than the kids were. So if you want your thing, if you're one of the type of people like, does it work for adults? Yes, it kind of does. It actually kind of does. But what makes Dora work and that Lion King doesn't work? You know, what made Dora work where something like Beauty and the Beast didn't work? Or what makes Dora better than Jungle Book or Aladdin, which films I think that actually did work for the live action remakes for Disney? Well, I will tell you like this. What makes Dora a little bit more interesting is that it takes more of that old school 90s route of how you would have like adapted it. So think like George of the Jungle. Like it's still like this place is George is the one person in there that's like that's not normal because he's lived in a jungle. It's kind of like that, like Dora of the Jungle. It's like she's not normal. She's over the top. She's like running away from pygmy elephants at the beginning of the movie. And you know when she has to go to the city with her and she meets up her cousin Diego, who used to be cool with her because he used to live in the jungle, but now he's in the city. He's lost all that jungle. All the jungle skills and all the talking to animals and stuff like that, or pretending to talk to animals, because the film makes it clear that there's probably a mental problem with Dora. You know, it's so funny how they just pull that off. Like I'm like watching this, I'm like, wow, I am actually interested in like what she does in this high school and how she's gonna just go about it. And it's funny as hell. Like most of the jokes are funny as hell because Dora the Explorer isn't just like adventurous. She's not just like a little a Mexican kid version of Tomb Raider. You know what I mean? She's like a genius too. Remember, she knows facts. She knows all these different facts and how this works and how that works. So it's so cool when she's like in class and she's saying like, oh, that is you know, like all this techno babble, or she knows this about stars. That's actually cool because it's like, yeah, you would expect Dora to know that. She's a computer. You know, the game, she's a computer, so she's pretty much like in the encyclopedia. They really play that up in the film. There's fourth wall breaks throughout the film, and they're cool when they come, because it's not like a film is constantly, like sometimes in George of the Jungle, it constantly breaks the fourth wall, and it's like, okay, we get it. Stop looking at the camera, we get it. Or with Deadpool, it's like, okay, or all right, we get it. It's fourth wall breaking, but you're not really actually talking to anybody. This does it at just like random moments, so every time it happens, it's kind of like, oh, me? Oh, Delicioso, it's funny, it's stupid, it's funny, and it's over the top. But here's the thing, it's not on the level of something like a Cat in the Hat or a Dr. Seuss's Grinch, the Smurfs, or even the Scooby-Doo movie. And I love the Scooby-Doo movies, because the Scooby-Doo movies are just the Scooby-Doo episodes, just remastered it in live action pretty much. It's the same exact thing. But the reason why Dora really works is because they do something different with it. They throw in other characters who can react to this. They acknowledge how stupid the whole concept of Dora the Explorer is. Not like, they don't criticize it. They acknowledge how like goofy it is. Like her talking to cameras, her having this like this immense knowledge of the jungle and stuff. That stuff they do totally well. Like I like that type of stuff. Like, and when the comedy actually comes in, the movie starts off with comedy. Once this comedy hits, it doesn't let up. It doesn't let up on your gut a lot. Like, I was like laughing throughout the movie. Like, I was like interested. I was kind of pissed because there's like some kids in there talking and stuff, and I'm like, man, they need to shut the hell up. I'm trying to watch this movie. I can't believe I said that. But no, it's because it's that cool. The movie, like, and here's the thing. We all watched Dora like a few times when we were young, because every time we get out for school, like say if I got out for school at 2 o'clock, by the time I get back to the house, 3 o'clock will be the airing of something like a SpongeBob or Rugrats or Fairly Odd Parents. And right before that, Dora the Explorer was going to air her little episode right before that. And before that, we didn't have internet like that. Internet wasn't that fun to be on. It was just like you looked up information and whatnot. So, or you played like little internet computer games. But so you just sit there and be like, man, Dora, okay, you know what, I'll watch this until SpongeBob comes on or whatever. It's coming on right after, so I don't have to go anywhere. And it'll be like, and you'd play the game with Dora as a kid. But if you were like over the age of like possibly 8, you were saying perverted stuff every time she paused. Like, hey, can you say that? And you're just up there like, oh yeah, I can say anything I want. Forget you, you dumb, da-da-da. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you all you want. We would play with Dora like that. People will make YouTube videos of voiceovers of Dora, and they were just funny. She was kind of like one of the first memes. Like it was like the first thing that came around, like everybody knows, and like it's kind of like a meme. This movie takes those memes, it takes all that stuff, and just wears it on its sleeves all out to show everybody, and it works. Why does it work? Because the character of Dora the Explorer is played immensely well. Seriously, this performance, and I'm not jawsing, is the best female acting performance of the year. Seriously, it by far. Look, and I was gonna go with Rosa Salazar in what's that movie? Alita Battle Angel. I was gonna go with her because I thought she was doing. Look, let me tell you something. For I don't know the star's name. I think it's Isabella Moner, Alicia Moner, or something like that. I think that was her name. Like maybe Isabel Moner, something like that. She just look up Dora the Explorer and look at the actress that plays her. She needs an Oscar nomination for this role, or at least a Golden Globe nomination in the comedy and musical category. Because she takes this stuff that you think should not work. She takes stuff that you think should not work in live action, and like having a smiley face. This could have been Disney Channel original movie level, where it's like, oh, this is one of the worst movies of the year, worst acting. Shit. I can't lie. She deserves an Oscar, not just because of the material, not because of that, because she wears that stuff on her sleeves and just like rocks it, straight rocks it. And you know what? Like, it's to the point where like she believes she's Dora. I'm gonna tell you like this: that is Dora the Explorer. If people are saying that's not my Dora, that is your Dora. That is your Dora. She's more Dora than a cartoon character. She's more animated than a cartoon character. In fact, because the animation in the cartoon was more or less based on like a little computer game, Dora would mostly be stiff with stiff movements and whatnot. She's animated over the top, but she's not annoying. That was the key. The movie could have gotten annoying That's the problem when you make stuff like kids films. When you make kids films, they can easily get annoying with the type of comedy they're doing. None of it got annoying. Even the poop joke, I was like, oh great, they're doing a poop joke. Where they take this joke, I was like, whoa, you guys. That might have been the greatest poop joke in like kids film ever made, like ever. Like seriously, like the people are laughing, like, and she's like, I'll tell about it. Spoiler alert! If you plan to see this movie, you should though. She takes like a shovel, and one of the girl characters says, "I need to poop," which is funny as shit, you know, because usually they save the poop and fart jokes for like male characters and stuff, but they did it for the girl character. People laughed. Like she's like, "Here, I can help you. I can," and Dora, like, she's like, "We're gonna sing the poop song, okay?" And every second to me right there is one of the funniest moments I've probably had this year. Like, I was literally spitting out shit. To me, I like, people are like, oh, fart jokes and poop jokes don't work for me. I always say it depends how you just tell them. Like, shit, like, sometimes smart humor doesn't work for me. Like, oh, that was a smart joke. Oh, it wasn't funny to me. Like, humor in general, it just depends how you execute the humor to where that can happen. So for me personally, I would just have to say that, like, in terms of comedy, this movie does better comedy than probably any kids film I'm seeing in like the last 10 years. Seriously, and you know what, that brings up a bigger topic. What happened to kids films? What happened to just the G-rated to PG level live action kids films? Now it's either an animated film like from Pixar, Illumination, DreamWorks, or whoever, right? It's either one of those, or it's just gonna be like a live action schlock fest. Like think Alvin and the Chipmunks, Smurfs. You know, people thought they were getting that. They were like, oh my God, look at this, how ugly the CGI Boots is. This is just a dumb cash grab and stuff. Yeah, it's supposedly. But then this movie to me has more care, more effort. It had more care put into it than any movie I've probably seen this year. And I'm not saying it's the best movie of the year. I'm just saying this movie's acting is on the level of the animation in Toy Story. Like, it's execution and what it's doing. These characters care about the actual character, and to me that's great. I love it when not an animated film, a live action kids film takes itself seriously. To me, that's even better than an animated film, because animated films, they can express more. You could write more emotions on them. But when you get kids to do all these emotions, or just younger people in general to do all these emotions, or just people possibly just playing younger people to do all these emotions, it works out better on that human level, because it's more than just somebody drawing a tear and drawing a sad face. It's somebody actually believing in the material that they're acting in. And that's why it really works. That's why most of this film works. But why is it better than the live action Disney movies? Why? Oh, easy. It does something different. It brings its own original stuff to it, to the point where I'm not constantly, if I'm reminded of the show, I'm laughing at the stuff that it reminds me of the show. It's not like they're repeating line and dialogue of it. It's not like they took an episode like, hey, what's the favorite Dora the Explorer episode? Let's just take that and make it live action for kids. They could have did that. They could have just took Dora and put some little kids in it and Diego, and just had like a stupid little live action movie of her being chased by enemy bad guys and stuff, where they could have had all these fart and poop joke galores and all this weak humor. But no, they take it seriously. They take this stuff seriously. But the film knows where to take itself. So what I mean by that, it seems like the filmmakers took this seriously and knew exactly how to make the film to where when you're watching it, you're not ever bored, because it's always like a joke or something popping out, and the joke is usually funny. And because it's usually something in reference of making fun of the show, which a lot of, especially people in my generation, would just love, because we all would make fun of Dora. So it's cool seeing some of the stuff that, not the stuff that we say, but like the fact that somebody's acknowledging, yeah, you guys, we know this show was kind of silly, but this movie's going to be even more sillier. It gets trippy too. It gets to the point. It's a scene. Spoiler alert. Seriously, it's a scene where they touch these these flowers, and the flowers like spray this mist on them, and they get tripped out, and it just turns animated. Funniest scene of the whole entire year. Seriously, like, I was crying laughing in this, because it was done in a way that they're all just tripping, and you're just seeing animated versions of the main cast all running around and trying to like find each other. It was amazingly trippy. like I was like, whoa, I didn't even expect that to be in there. Especially if the scene like starts. I'm not gonna ruin anything about the scene. You're gonna be like, whoa, they took it there? Like, yeah, they took it there. But here's the thing, it never feels inappropriate. Never feels anything. The movie. One thing I can say about Nickelodeon, they make better kids films than Disney does. Like when I look at like Nickelodeon's like catalog of films, from their cartoon movies to their live action movies, they make kids films. Like I can just say it like this: they make films. Like, but it's not like for kiddie kids though. Nickelodeon's found an audience that I think Disney can never find, and that's just they know how to do vulgar humor. They know how to do vulgar and toilet humor to a point where people can laugh at it. They do it better than anybody, to where Disney can't do stuff like that. You can't throw fart jokes in Toy Story. No, you could if you knew how to do it right, but you can't because Disney does not know how to do that type of humor right. This type of humor that they're doing is really like kind of like it's a take on the 90s and early 2000s, but more of updating it and making it better. Like, it's not trying to be like Scooby-Doo where it's just trying to be cynical for no reason or at all. It's not trying to be like Alvin and Chipmunks where it's just about, ooh, look, we have Alvin and Chipmunks. Like, no, they actually developed Dora as a character. Like, after the end of this movie, you're gonna feel a different type of way you felt about Dora. Not the show or anything like that. Well, you may get a little bit more nostalgic and watch clips on YouTube or whatever. But I'm saying, as a Dora the Explorer character, you're gonna actually maybe like the character. Like, if that makes any sense. And I think that's cool because that's what you want to do. In the live action remakes of the Disney films, I don't like the Simba in that movie. I don't like anybody in that movie because it just all seems like they don't seem like characters. It just seems like, oh, that's Seth Rogen playing Pumbaa inside a studio playing Seth Rogen playing Pumbaa. Like, oh, that's just Beyonce playing Nala. You know, it feels like that. Where these characters, hell, I didn't know what these actors were. And you know what I like about it? They didn't try to. All these movies keep trying to throw all these big ass stars in there. Like, and Disney is king of it. Avengers Infinity War having like 30 big stars in it. And like, you know what I like about this movie? I like watching a movie and barely recognizing most of the people in it. I'm like, oh, cool. I can see some acting that's not from an actor I know from another movie. I'm kind of sick of that. I know actors, you know, people want to see this actor in that movie. I kind of want to see some new shit. I kind of miss in the 90s or early 2000s where half the time I don't know who the hell is on screen. I'm like, who the hell is that? Who the hell is this person leading this action movie? A no-name person. You don't need Tom Cruise in this thing. They could have easily just hopped on the Michael Pena like marketing thing, like Michael Pena in Dora. No, they keep the marketing, everything on Dora. That's the star. People want to come in here and see Dora. They don't want to come in here and just see a whole bunch of celebs, you know, share their love for Dora. You know, they don't want to see that. You can put out all the Lion King albums you want, but it doesn't mean that you had any like passion for the project at all. If you know what I mean. Like this, they had so much passion in this project, so much passion in it. Like that's like just weeping out, like, and you could feel it when you're watching it. You can feel it. You can feel when they just have scenes, the way the camera just focuses. The camera knows how to stay in focus. It doesn't get all off. It doesn't get too whirly. It doesn't try to do like crazy one shots. It just takes itself. It takes itself exactly how seriously it needed to take itself. Because at times I'm like, man, how are they? Again, I'm like looking. I'm like, how is this movie entertaining? How is this movie just not a schlock fest of lousy like fart jokes and celebrity references? Because they cared, because they actually cared about giving kids, not adults, kids entertainment. And I think that works better than a movie that's like, oh, you can watch it for adults and kids. No, I think this movie hits harder than something like a Pixar film, for instance. And here's the reason why I say that. It's because, how do I put this? Okay, the reason why is because this movie kind of focuses on a type, it knows how to play to your childhood. That's the point in a kid's movie. It's to connect with the adult, but bring them down to the kid's level, not try to play up to the adult level, if that makes sense. A kid's film should be something to make the adult be like, man, I wish I was a kid again. That's exactly the feeling I got while watching this. I'm like, man, I wish I was like a kid again watching this. Not because I wanted to enjoy it, but yeah, because I wanted to enjoy it even more, but because it was so enjoyable. And it's like, man, this will be a movie that, like, heck, I'd probably like buy, like, if I was like from the 8 to 12 range and watch it all freaking day and shit, and be like, man, Dora's badass. How'd she get badass? And that's the point, though. The fact is, though, they didn't go overly badass. They went to badass to the point where you're like, that's Dora. That's Dora. But it's still like in a version that's adult enough, just enough to where kids aren't totally, aren't totally unfamiliar with what she does and can kind of relate to her, and adults are really unfamiliar and they don't feel, they don't feel like they're X'd out or feel like, oh man, I'm just walking into a schlock fest of kid jokes. And it's like, nah, actually some of the jokes were good. As far as characters like Swiper, I thought he was hilarious. I thought Swiper was hilarious, and he kept in with the show about him just being a thief and whatnot, and it was funny. It was funny what they were giving to him. Him and Dora come from like that same universe of just singing and talking. And it's so funny because this is all acknowledged, like, constantly in the film. Like, stop acting like that. It makes it seem like Dora has, like, a mental instability in her head. Like, something's wrong with her. I think that's smart. You know what? I can't lie. This movie is probably one of the better films of the year. Seriously. This year has been, like, hit or miss with films, especially, like, adaptions. Like, we've had some live-action adaptions this year, too. We've had, like, Alita Battle Angel, which is a live-action adaptation of an anime. We've had the Lion King, and like Aladdin. I like two of them this year. I like Alita Battle Angel. And I loved Aladdin. I actually like this the best out of all the live action remakes. Seriously, I like this better than all of them. I think it's probably one of my favorite films of the year. Seriously, because it was just so fun and knew what the hell it was going for. I was like, man, I'm glad that a kids film just knows it's having fun being a kids film, not trying to do, but at the same time, it's being a really good kids film. I'm like, man, I wish I was a little bit younger, not to be like, oh, so I can get the jokes. No, so I can just yell and have fun in the audience and not be looked at like you're a grown man. You can't laugh at that. Like it's like that. So what can I say? It's a fun movie. People are gonna love it. I really mean that. I think people are gonna love it. I don't think people are gonna walk in like, oh, it was just a bland nothing. No, to me it was just long enough. It does kind of drag at the end, not because it gets boring. They still throw the jokes out at you at tenfold. But the point is that it kind of gets like to that like Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade type of storytelling, where it's like, oh, that person. Like if you've seen any Tomb Raider or Indiana Jones or hell, Mummy movie, then you know where the plot's going. But then again, we're not looking at something like this to know where the plot is going. We're looking at it to have fun with the plot, have fun with a plot that we know and love. These are plot adventure movies. We like these. Like we like MacGuffins and like oh, we got to go here for that and solving puzzles. That's all good. And if you do it well, people are gonna come. They're gonna come in and they're gonna love what you're doing. But if you're gonna do it weak, then it's gonna be like, it's gonna be bland, like something like a Tomb Raider, to where it's like, oh, this is a copycat of pretty much Indiana Jones. What's so unique about Lara Croft in film, at least on film, that makes her unique to where this isn't just female Indiana Jones or whatever. With this, Dora is a unique character. And in fact, in this day of female empowerment, this might be the best character. Why? Because she was based on a character in the early 2000s that was here to empower females, especially young Mexicans. She's based on it, and the show in general was very respectful towards her. It's never sexualized. I've heard people say it gets sexualized. Nothing in this movie gets sexualized. That's what I like about it, that it keeps it base level. I don't have to walk out and be like, oh, there's nothing that makes it, oh, that could be PG-13. Nah, I'm in here like, you know what, yeah, keep throwing these jokes out that are hitting at like, that they're just hitting. Don't try to get out of your element and throwing like oh, here's a joke for the adults to get. They throw in like a little mating joke, but they make it work for kids. They're like, hey, that's mating, because kids know what mating is. Like she explains it. So that is like once the joke happens for the mating scene to come, like it's like these two scorpions on top of this guy's head fighting, and she's like, Dora's like, they're not fighting, they're mating. I thought that was hilarious. It's a lot of stuff in the movie is just straight up laugh out loud funny. Like seriously, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a blast for me. I'm like on the IO, like, oh, I'm not even, I had to go piss. I'm like, I'm not missing a second of this. I'm not, because it's trippy, it's over the top, but it knows it though. It, like, a lot of films are like accidentally trippy. Like what's that movie called with the Mike Myers, The Cat in the Hat? You remember The Cat in the Hat? It's trippy, but the film doesn't work because it knows it wants to be trippy. It wants to be an edgy kids movie. This doesn't want to be. This doesn't want to be. It's like, no, I just want to be a movie about people. And why do we even call these kids films? How about just people films? A movie about people. And when people like say, oh no, it'll work for the kid. No, I think it'll work for anybody because you've been a kid before. We've all grown up before. So it's cool getting a movie like this that's about kids and for kids, but it's not being cheap with the humor. Only cheap kid humor doesn't work. But stuff like with Home Alone or something like that, like, you know, when you're on that level, or Spy Kids, it's on that type of level. So yeah, this is the best live action remake for a cartoon next to Transformers. It's better than any live action remake that Disney's ever done. That's including the old school live action remakes like 101 Dalmatians, and the new school ones like Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella. I don't even consider Maleficent a live action remake. That's more of a retelling of a story, but it's not really Beauty and the Beast. I mean Sleeping Beauty. It's not really that, so I don't consider that a live action remake. It's also better than it's better than Aladdin, which is crazy to me because I loved Aladdin. Aladdin was like, loved it, but this is better. In fact. And yes, it's better than Lion King. And the fact is, Lion King is still going to make $1 billion, where this movie might barely scrape over 100 million, which gets me mad at that. It's like, wow, everybody looked at this movie and thought it was going to be the piece of shit. Like, oh, just a cash grab, early 2000s wannabe movie, like, that's stuck in the wrong decade. But then we find out that that's really the Disney live action remakes are. They're just cash grabs. They're the ones that are just doing stuff for the sake of nostalgia. This movie seemed like it was actually made not to get people nostalgic, though, but really to make kids smile. That's really what it is. Somebody really wanted to make somebody happy. Though to me, those are the best movies. Movies are made just to make people smile and laugh, not to make money, not to be, oh, we're honoring, like, fuck that honor shit. We're honoring the old school Lion King with this new live action remake. I don't care that you're remaking live action. I just care when it's not good. Like, especially when something like Lion King. How do we live in a day and age with Lion King? One of the greatest, one of the most widely known animated films, the most widely known animated film of all time, the most famous out of all of them, The Lion King. How the hell are we living in a day and age where Dora the Explorer is better than Lion King? Get this for a second. Dora the Explorer, live action movie, is a better film, more entertaining, more funny, more thoughtful, more ideas, more imagination, more of a sense of awe, better shots, better acted than Lion King made by Disney. What world are we really living in? Whatever it is, I'm happy because Dora kicked ass. And you know what? I'm actually good with it. I'm like, you know what? I like this. You know what? I'm actually hyped for Nickelodeon's new live action films, or their animated films. Nickelodeon Studios has always been that studio. They're just okay. You know, they put out like masterpieces like Rango every now and then, and Jimmy Neutron. The original Jimmy Neutron was amazing, a masterpiece. But at the same time, The Last Airbender really killed a lot of momentum at that studio. Like, it flopped hard, and it's one of the worst movies ever made. It really is. It's like Last Airbender should be taught to a film class. But honestly, if you guys want to, this really makes up for it. Like, I'm sorry, Avatar fans, yes, but if the fact that they pulled off fucking Dora the Explorer, yeah, you're forgiven for The Last Airbender. But we might, come on, everybody, let's just forget it. Let's put it back. But we might still be mad at M. Night Shyamalan. But okay. And again, okay. So what did you think? Do you think that the Disney movies have a better take on their live action films? For me, for the most part, Nickelodeon's been better at like giving. To me, for the most part, I'm gonna do a video about this. I think Nickelodeon's better at giving us nostalgia, from the return of Harry to Hey Arnold to Rocko's Modern Life. To me, it's better than what Disney's tried to do with their new DuckTales or just new shows that they're trying to bring back, or just new movies they're trying to bring back. It just seems very studio driven, where at Nickelodeon it seems very studio driven, but from a creator standpoint. And it feels like Nickelodeon knows their characters better. Like Nickelodeon's CEO knows its characters more than Bob Iger knows Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck or any of the Marvel characters. I think that is a big sign, and I think when you have that in your film, and that love just translates, and it just from the screen to audiences where we can feel that love. It feels organic. It feels like it's all earned. All this stuff feels earned. So for me, it's a great movie. I think kids will like it. I think adults will have fun with it. I think you should see that. If you're planning on seeing the live action Lion King, stop yourself, take a drink of water, and maybe a shot, maybe a hit of a blunt, and go see the Dora movie. You'll have way more fun. Trust me. This is Mania. I'm not Mania. I'm Tico, but the show is. And like and subscribe if you like what I said today. And if not, oh well, I'll still have you around and let me know what I did wrong. But have a good one, people.